I titled this chapter, Lakes, Mountains, and a Cave. To be more precise, we visited 3 lakes, the Julian Alps, and one very large cave. We'll start at the famous Lake Bled. For centuries, Europeans have flocked to Lake Bled for recreation and its supposed medicinal benefits. Holy Roman Emperor Henry II enjoyed the lake so much he built Bled Castle in 1004, the ultimate vacation home. In the lake is Bled Island and a pilgrimage church dedicated to the Assumption of Mary. It was built in its current form near the end of the 17th century. No motors are allowed on Lake Bled, so the traditional transportation is the pletna. 1740, Empress Maria Theresa granted 22 local families the exclusive rights to ferry religious pilgrims across Lake Bled to worship on Bled Island. The modern boatmen descend directly from the original 22 families. Leading to the church is a Baroque stairway with 99 stone steps. Traditionally, it's good luck for a groom to carry his bride up the steps on the day of their wedding. Inscription over the church door translate from Slovene as, "My house is a house of prayer." The interior is decorated with rich Baroque furnishings. Tasha says this is a wishing bell. Ring it 3 times and your wish will come true. So of course I had to give it a try. It's a 171-foot clock tower that's visible from anywhere around the lake. 2 opposite winding stairways lead to the top and back down. On the way, you pass the pendulum and the counterweights. And at the top, you see the movement dated 1850. They made our wish, rung the bell, and taken lots of pictures. Our work here is done. We find a colorful pletna, and we are rowed back to the lakeshore. Our next adventure is in the Julian Alps. I don't think there's much chance for the clouds to clear so we can see the tops. The architecture is definitely alpine. These traditional hayracks, called kozolets, are one of the most distinctive features of the Slovenian countryside and a national symbol. This is Lake Bohinj, covering 790 acres. It is the largest lake in Slovenia. In the little town of Rebčezlaz is this old parish church standing at the southeastern shore of Lake Bohinj. We're in for a surprise. The Church of John the Baptist was built between the late 10th century and the mid-11th century. It incorporates elements of the Romanesque to the Baroque period. The oldest preserved frescoes date to approximately 1300. Our next stop is Vogel, with a tagline of "Like a Fairy Tale." We ride the gondola to the top for a fantastic view of Lake Bohinj. Vogel is a ski area with 14 miles of ski slopes. On a clear winter day, I'll bet it is like a fairy tale. But today, the clouds lift just enough to see the lowest snow remaining on the mountains. Our next stop is a little village at the south end of Lake Bohinj. We meet the Gardeners, a brother and sister running an agritourism business that offers apartments, cheeses, and cured meats from their farm, and tastings like we're here for. Matevs runs the cheese factory, making Bohinj alpine cheese, smoked cheese, and Mohant, a semi-soft cheese unique to this area. Lucia runs the farm and markets the products. She tells us that in another week, she'll be taking their dozen cattle, some pigs, and a donkey to an alpine meadow for the summer. Now it's time to taste the result of all this hard work. There's pork sausage, smoked ham, 3 kinds of cheeses, and minced lard, served with bread and wine. The plan was to visit Bled Castle next, but there's a Renaissance fair going on and we can't get in. So we're going to explore Bled town and walk down to the lake for a different angle on it. Even though the homes are relatively new, less than 100 years old, they are interesting, like this shrine in the junction of 3 streets. An ornate post box. Interesting doors and windows are always fun. Then we happen on a really nice parish church, St. Martin's. The first chapel was built on this site before the year 1000. The current neo-Gothic church was built in 1905 on the site of a Gothic church from the 15th century. That takes us down to the park around the lake. We're looking at the other side of Bled Island. The floats on the lake are lane markers for international rowing competitions. Bled Castle looms over it all. This is Bled Town Hall. It was built in 1853 as a private villa. Tasha says it's time to head back to Ljubljana. But she wants to show us one more thing, so we stop at Radovnica. The colorful main square is the town's leading attraction. It's lined with houses from the 16th and 17th centuries. This house has a late medieval floor plan and late Gothic architectural elements. The Baroque fresco is of St. Florian, patron saint of soap makers, maybe a hint at the building's past occupants. Anton Linhart was born in this house in 1756. He's best known as the author of the first theatrical comedy written in Slovene. Maybe this is a scene from that play. This fountain is dedicated to Josipina Hočevar, who dedicated money to complete the town's water supply system in 1906. The schoolboy is holding a portrait of Hočevar. And the best part of the town is the chocolate shop. The town hosts an annual chocolate festival. It doesn't take long to get back to Ljubljana. The blue sky and the afternoon light is quite a change from the gray drizzle. So we're back in the streets, looking for pictures and dinner. We find a seafood restaurant and start with a tuna carpaccio. The sunlight fades and the lights along the river come on as we finish our dinner. And we find our way back to the hotel. It's been a good day. Today, for something different, we're exploring the southwest of Slovenia. First, we visit Lake Cerknica and then Postojna Cave. To understand these natural features and what they have in common requires a brief geology lesson. Please bear with me. Most of southwest Slovenia is a karst plateau. What is karst? It's a German word that was first used in English to describe the underground flow of rivers in a study of Lake Cerknica by Johann Werkhard von Wollwasser in 1689. So what is it? Karst is created when limestone is corroded by water, carbon dioxide, and organic acids. This corrosion causes shallow valleys, sinkholes, caves, and underground rivers. Lake Cerknica is an intermittent lake. When full, it is the largest lake in Slovenia. It can cover as much as 15 square miles. The lake is connected to caverns, which act as reservoirs. In the summer, the lake drains into these caverns, and the lake bed is covered with rich vegetation as we see it now. With the fall rains, the reservoirs will be filled and the lake bed will flood. So here in May, we're enjoying the lush, marshy wetland, which is covered with wildflowers. We can hear the birds in the little islands of brush, but can't get very close due to the marshy ground. Frogs are out, and tadpoles fill most puddles. And with the flowers come bees, bugs, and butterflies. We drove all around the lake and enjoyed the chance to get out into nature. Our next stop is Postojna Cave. It's one of Slovenia's top tourist attractions. The cave was first described by our friend Johann Weichart in the 17th century, although graffiti dated to 1213 indicates he was not the first explorer. In 1819, Archduke Ferdinand visited the cave, and it became a fashionable tourist attraction. In 1872, the first rails were laid in the cave. A carriage on the rails was pushed by the guides. At the beginning of the 20th century, a gas locomotive was introduced. Today, an electric locomotive takes guests silently through the first 2 miles of the cave. Paved walkways take the guests another 1 mile into the cave. Electric lighting was introduced in 1884. Before that, it was candles and torches. Now, for the most part, inconspicuous lighting illuminates the cave. The cave is filled with speleothems, the geological term for formations of mineral deposits that accumulate over time. Stalactites are the formations hanging from the roof of the cave. They can take on many forms and colors. The thin needle-like stalactites are called straws. Stalactites that form sheets are called draperies. Water is continuously dripping from the stalactites above. Stalagmites are the formations that grow from the floor of the cave. They can be straight or crooked. And they can be massive. When a stalagmite meets a stalactite, they become a column. Speleothem that I find the most interesting and beautiful is flowstone. These are formed when water washes down the wall of the cave, leaving behind intricate patterns. The walkway through the cave is an engineering marvel, but I can't help but think about all the formations that were destroyed in its construction. We get a glimpse of the Piuca River that carved the cave over millions of years. Then we're back at the train station for our ride out of the cave. We come out to the bright sun again, ready for our next adventure.